Forget everything you thought you knew about climate change. What's happening right now isn't just some prediction. It's a new reality that will change your life. Are you ready to face the truth about tomorrow? Let's go back millions of years. Picture this. Earth wasn't the blue planet we know today. It was a world of constant, slow change. A world where nature wrote its own story, long before humans even existed. There were times when massive glaciers, miles thick, covered entire continents. They crept along like giant white monsters, carving out incredible landscapes, leaving behind lakes and valleys. Imagine the air, piercingly cold, with life clinging to every ice-free patch of land. Mammoths, woolly rhinos, they ruled these harsh, frozen lands. These were true ice ages, when Earth seemed to fall into a frozen sleep. But even that sleep didn't last forever. Then there were times when our planet transformed into a lush, tropical paradise. Oceans were much warmer. Sea levels rose, flooding lowlands and creating new coastlines. Jungles flourished where we now see barren deserts. Dinosaurs, giant reptiles, they thrived in this hot, humid world. These were grand cycles, slow and subtle for any one generation, but colossal in their scale. Why did Earth change so dramatically? It's not magic, but a complex interplay of natural forces. Our climate has always depended on many factors. Like Earth's orbit around the Sun, which shifts slightly, and the tilt of its axis. And volcanoes. Powerful eruptions spewed tons of ash and gases into the atmosphere, changing the weather for a long time. Or ocean currents, like giant conveyor belts, carrying heat around the world. All of these are natural mechanisms, working like massive planetary clocks, synchronizing changes over hundreds of thousands, even millions of years. And here's the critical difference. Those changes gave nature time. Animals and plants could adapt, species migrated, evolved. Everything happened gradually, at a pace we humans can barely imagine. But what's happening now isn't just another cycle. We're not just watching the planetary clock. We're speeding it up at an alarming rate. Why is everything accelerating so much? And who or what is responsible? What if all those news stories about melting glaciers and intense hurricanes aren't just distant events, but direct warnings of what will change your life tomorrow? Forget the distant past. Right now, the planet is screaming, and satellite images show them retreating, leaving behind bare land and rising sea levels. This isn't just abstract data. It means coastal cities, home to millions, could one day be underwater. But that's just the beginning. Remember the news in recent years? Wildfires turning entire regions to ash in hours. Smoke blotting out the sun thousands of miles away. Australia, California, Siberia. The fires are becoming uncontrollable. It's not just a dry season, it's a brutal new normal. And what about hurricanes? They're getting stronger, more unpredictable, hitting coastlines with such force that they leave behind ruins, destroy homes, and shatter lives. People are losing everything. Asia, Africa, even Europe. We're seeing land cracking from unbearable drought everywhere. Farmers are losing crops. Water sources are drying up. This leads to famine, migration, conflict. At the same time, elsewhere, Rivers are overflowing, flooding entire villages. Water is life in some places, a destructive force in others. This isn't just bad weather, it's chaos sown by a changing climate. These events aren't just disasters, they're symptoms. The planet is sending us SOS signals we can't ignore. Coral reefs are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing, animals are losing their homes, some species are disappearing forever. This isn't just pictures on the news, it's happening right here, right now. It affects everyone. And here's the scariest part. We know who's to blame. Or at least, we can guess. We humans aren't just influencing the climate, we're rewriting it, and doing so at a pace that nature can't keep up with. Most dangerously, we created this invisible enemy ourselves. We thought we had time, but when I saw the latest reports from scientists, I realized some climate changes are already irreversible. And that's just the beginning of what awaits us around the next corner. We've talked about how humans changed the climate. Now we need to look ahead, and it's not pretty. Some things we've set in motion can't be stopped. Scientists talk about tipping points. It's not just a metaphor. Imagine pushing a huge boulder down a mountain. It starts slowly, but then picks up so much speed it becomes impossible to stop. That's how it is with climate. Some processes are already underway and will continue. Even if we completely stop all greenhouse gas emissions right now, it doesn't mean all is lost, but it changes the game. What are these processes? The most obvious is the melting of glaciers and ice sheets. Huge masses of ice in Greenland and Antarctica, built up over millennia, are now melting at an unprecedented rate. That water is already flowing into the ocean. Stopping it completely is, sadly, almost impossible. We're talking about decades, even centuries, of continued sea level rise. Imagine coastal cities, home to millions, slowly but surely sinking underwater. Not overnight, but slowly, inch by inch. Venice, Miami, Bangkok. These aren't scenes from science fiction movies. It's the reality these cities are forced to adapt to. People will lose their homes, their land, their lives. It's not just an inconvenience. It's a humanitarian and economic catastrophe on a global scale. Or take the world's oceans. They absorb most of the excess heat and carbon dioxide. But it's not free. The ocean is getting warmer, meaning stronger storms and hurricanes. It's also becoming more acidic, which is deadly for coral reefs and many marine organisms. Reefs aren't just beautiful underwater gardens. They're homes for thousands of species of fish, barriers protecting coastlines from waves. Their death will trigger a chain reaction that will affect all marine life and fishing. The new reality is also unpredictable weather. We're already seeing it. Hurricanes that level cities, droughts turning fertile land to dust, causing famine, floods inundating entire regions, leaving people with nothing. These extreme events will happen more often and be more severe. It's not just a bad year, it's a dangerous new normal we'll have to get used to or fight against. All these scenarios aren't just scary predictions from scientists. It's what we're already seeing, and what most experts believe will only intensify. It's not some distant future from textbooks. It's what our children will experience, and many of us will feel in the coming years. We're at a crossroads. Some doors have already closed forever, but others are still open. We have a chance to cushion the blow, slow down these processes. But time is running out. Every day of inaction brings us closer to that point of no return. What will we do to avoid the worst? We think we have time, but every year of inaction already costs the world trillions of dollars. These aren't just abstract numbers. It's a direct hit to your wallet, your health, and your children's future. We've already said some climate changes are irreversible. But what does that mean for us? For our wallets, our health, our future? The price of inaction is already enormous, and it's growing every day. These aren't just abstract numbers in reports. They're real losses that affect each of us, even if we don't feel it directly yet. Imagine massive hurricanes, floods, fires. They're not just natural disasters. They cause billions, even trillions of dollars in damage every year. Insurance companies are already sounding the alarm, raising rates or refusing to insure property in dangerous areas. Does your home face the sea? Insurance costs will rise and then disappear altogether. Bridges collapse, roads wash away. Power grids fail. Who pays for this? Ultimately, we all do, through taxes and rising prices. Or take food. Droughts destroy crops. Floods wash away fields. It's not just a problem for farmers. It means there's less food and prices rise. Bread, vegetables, fruit, everything gets more expensive. For millions, it becomes a question of survival. It's not just what's on your plate. It's the economy of entire countries that depend on agriculture. And those economies collapse while people become impoverished. But money isn't everything. Our health is also under attack. Heat waves kill thousands every year, especially the elderly and children. This affects the heart and respiratory system. And what about diseases? Mosquitoes that used to live only in the tropics are now spreading to new regions due to warming, bringing malaria and dengue fever. Smoke from wildfires causes respiratory illnesses. This isn't just discomfort. It's a direct impact on our lives and their length. This leads to even more serious problems. When people lose their homes due to floods or droughts, they have to go somewhere. These are millions of climate refugees looking for a new place to live, new resources. This often leads to conflict over water, land, food. Entire regions can become unstable. It's no longer just an environmental problem. It's a matter of national security and world peace. We can't just sit on the sidelines, hoping someone else will solve this problem. The price of inaction is too high. It's measured not only in money, but in human lives, in the stability of our society. We're already paying that price, and if we do nothing, it will only grow. So what can we do to stop this rising tide of problems? After all these scary facts, it's easy to feel discouraged. But when I realized that even a small step from each of us can change the future, I got chills. This isn't about guilt. It's about our shared responsibility. After all these worrying facts, it's easy to feel powerless. The problem seems too big and our actions too small. But that's not true. Our role isn't to feel guilty, but to take responsibility. And that's much more important than it seems. Each of us is part of this planet, and every choice we make matters. Look, this isn't a call to abandon civilization. It's about a conscious approach. Let's start with the simplest thing: energy. We all use electricity, but can we turn off the lights when we leave a room? Unplug chargers when they're not needed? Choose energy-efficient appliances when we buy new ones. Every kilowatt hour saved means fewer greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. It's a small step, but when millions take it, the effect is enormous. Next up, transportation. Our cars emit a lot of carbon dioxide. Can we use public transport more often? Walk or bike if the distance allows? And if we do drive, maybe think about more fuel-efficient models or even electric vehicles in the future. It not only reduces emissions, but also improves air quality in our cities. Now, about what we buy. Our consumption is huge. Can we buy less, but better quality? Give things a second life. Sort waste and send it for recycling? Refuse single-use plastics that pollute our planet for hundreds of years. Every item we don't buy, don't throw away, or recycle reduces the burden on Earth. It's a simple but powerful strategy. And of course, food. Producing some foods, especially meat, leaves a large carbon footprint. Can we at least sometimes choose plant-based foods? Buy local products to reduce transportation distances. Waste less food, since its production also requires resources. This is not only good for the planet, but also for our health. Our role isn't just in personal actions. It's also about talking about it. Tell friends, family, colleagues. Support companies that care about the environment. Demand more decisive action from governments. We are citizens and our voice has power. We can influence changes on a large scale. It's not about being perfect. It's about starting to act, doing something. Every small step is a contribution to our common future. Every choice in favor of the planet is a brick in the foundation of a new, more sustainable world. We can change the trajectory. We can take responsibility, and this is our last chance. Everyone's talking about climate change, but there's one truth the powers that be don't want you to know. We have only a few years left to turn things around before it's too late. This is our last real shot. We've talked about what's happening, who's to blame, and what each of us can do. But here's the big question. Is there still hope? Many will say the ship has sailed, that it's too late. But that's not true. We have one last real chance to change the course of events. This isn't about fairy tales. It's about concrete actions that must happen on a global level. Here's the deal. The main goal is to drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. That means quickly transitioning from fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, to clean energy sources. Solar panels, wind turbines, geothermal plants. The technologies already exist. They're getting cheaper and more efficient every year. We need to not only develop them, but implement them everywhere, quickly and decisively. This requires huge investments, but the price of inaction, as we've seen, is much higher. It's not just about energy. Forests are our lungs. We need to stop cutting them down, especially in the tropics. And just as importantly, plant new trees. Billions of trees around the world so they can absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It's a huge project that requires international cooperation and funding. It's not just green initiatives, it's investing in our future. Another important point is adaptation. Even if we stop all emissions right now, some changes are already underway. We need to learn to live in new conditions, build protective structures against flooding, develop drought-resistant crops, create early warning systems for extreme weather events. This doesn't negate the need to reduce emissions, but it helps cushion the blow to people and the economy. And the most important thing that can give us hope is unity. No country, no person can handle this problem alone. It requires global cooperation, political will, and solidarity. Scientists, governments, businesses, ordinary people, everyone must work together. We must demand decisive action from our leaders, support innovation, and be part of the solution ourselves. Time is running out. Scientists say we have literally a few years to take the most important steps and avoid the worst-case scenarios. It's not just a challenge, it's a test of our ability to act together, of our humanity. The choice is ours. Let the planet descend into chaos, or roll up our sleeves and build a more sustainable future. There is hope, but it requires action, right now. On Epoch Echoes, we'll continue to dive into the most pressing challenges facing our planet. Subscribe now to be the first to learn about new solutions and not miss what will define our shared future. Like this video if you're ready to act.